Okay guys, this is slide set 2 of this 6 video lecture series on earned value analysis, and for this video we're going to focus on the basic terms used in earned value analysis. Okay, for this section we will cover the meaning of 5 terms. First one is BAC, which is budget at completion. The second one is BCWS or PV. BCWS means budgeted cost of work that was scheduled, or another term when you look at newer versions, it will be called PV or planned value. The third one is BCWP, which is budgeted cost of the work that you actually did or work performed. Newer books call it EV, which is your earned value. The fourth one is ACWP, which is the actual cost, how much you actually spend of the work that you did, which is work performed. Newer books call it AC or actual cost. And the last term that you're going to see is called EAC, which is your estimated completion. Okay, so let's start. Again, let's say that your company has a particular project and they've assigned you as project manager. For this situation, your company has been awarded a contract to build a new railroad track. And the basic details of that railroad track is this. You are supposed to build 5 miles of track in 5 months at a total budget of 5,000 US dollars. Okay, so 5 miles, 5 months, 5,000. So let's start off with our first term, budget at completion. What is budget at completion? Budget at completion is equal to the total budget of the project. So for our example, the total cost of the project is $5,000. This is the budget that I should meet at the end of the project. So BAC is equal to the total budget of the project, which is equal to 5,000 US dollars. Simple. Okay, the next term is the budgeted cost of the work that I schedule. Now, in order to understand this, you have to look at it in 2 chunks. The first chunk is the budgeted cost. The second one is the work schedule. So let's tackle the work schedule first. When I look When I considered the project of creating the railroad's tracks, I scheduled to do 1 mile per track. So that is the work that I scheduled. 1 mile per track. And if I estimate that the total cost of each mile is 1,000 US dollars, that is the budgeted cost of 1 mile of track. Now, let's put them all together. For every month, I am supposed to create 1 mile of track for $1,000. So $1,000 is the budgeted cost of the work that I scheduled for month 1. For month 2, I also budgeted 1,000 US dollars to build 1 mile of track. So essentially, the BCWS of the work that I scheduled each month is 1,000 US dollars. Of course, you can actually change this along the way. You can say that in month 1, you are still testing out items. Therefore, your budgeted cost might be 3,000 in the first month. Then in the succeeding months, you will just spend 500 US dollars. Still, the total is 5,000 US dollars. What is important here is at the start, you actually identify what is the cost that you will spend for the work that you are scheduling. So this is the planning part of the earned value analysis. Note though that we usually aggregate the BCWS per time period. BCWS, if you're doing a project status report, it's usually at a certain point in time. So the BCWS up to that point should be aggregated and summed. Why do you need to aggregate and sum is because that will serve as our performance baseline. So using the example that we have again, if we're doing a project status report at the end of month 1, the BCWS at that point, at the end of month 1, is 1,000 because that is what I scheduled for month 1. Now, let's assume that you're already in month 3. Okay, what is the budgeted cost of all the work that I scheduled up until month 3? So therefore, you're going to aggregate all of them. So it's not just going to be 1,000, but rather 3,000 US dollars. That is the total budgeted cost of all the work scheduled as of month 3. Okay, so what do you think will be the total budgeted cost of all the work scheduled at month 4? If you said 4,000 US dollars, then you're correct. If it's at the end of month 5, what should be the total budgeted cost of all the work that I scheduled? Yes, 5,000 US dollars. Okay, let's now, so we're done with BCWS. Let's now go to the second term, which is the budgeted cost of the work that I perform. Now again, look at this in two terms. Budgeted cost of the work that I perform. The first one, budgeted cost, is all about the plan. The second one, the work performed, is what actually happened. Now, let's assume it's at the end of the second month. Your boss, your client comes to you and asks you, how much have we done? You gathered all of the data and found out that at the end of your second month, you've only completed one section of the track. Okay, so the work that you perform is just 1 mile of railroad track. What is the budgeted cost of that 1 mile of railroad track? It is going to be 1,000. That is the concept of earned value. You earn the value of the activity that you did as it was budgeted. We still at this point don't care about the actual cost that you spent. This is just I planned how much you actually plan to spend versus how much you actually did. So you did 1,000, you did 1 mile of track. The budgeted cost of that 1 mile of track originally was $1,000. So you earned $1,000 for that 1 mile of track. Okay, so the last one is the actual cost of work performed. Again, actual cost, work performed. Actual cost is really how much money you spent. How much was the total receipts? Work performed is what you did. So essentially, what you're keeping track here is how much you actually spent for all the work that you did up until that point. So if labor came to around 1,300, your materials cost you 1,100, the total first section cost is going to be 2,400. Compare that to the budgeted cost of the work that you scheduled. How much was the BCWS? We budgeted the cost of the work that I scheduled for that first month to just simply 1,000 US dollars. So clearly, we can already see here that there's this difference between what you actually budgeted for the work that you intend to perform for month one versus how much you actually spent for that um, track that you did in month one. Okay, guys, so we're at the end of slide set 2. Essentially, what we did is we reviewed or we discussed the basic terms in EVA, and I gave you already a mini case for this one. What you're now going to do, hopefully first, is to do the online quiz just to check on whether you understood the concepts properly. So bye guys, hope you're doing the online quiz in a little